But we just keep our pilot episode the same. And
Yeah.
our first episode is definitely called Pilot, by the way.
Pilot. It's like episode 1, pilot, and then
Pilot.
new
Let's
topics.
talk about MH370.
So, do you guys want to like get the ball rolling properly?
Let's do it.
The ball's been rolling.
The ball's been rolling, but we are starting now.
So,
Welcome to Bailey Independent. We just came up with the name. We think we're cool. I have no idea what we're talking about. Nobody knows what we're talking about. Welcome. I'm Ezra. With me, we have Tyron, we
hello.
have Peter,
Hello.
and we have Ben, the producer. Tyron, what are we doing here today?
We're here to discuss Ben's top hairstyle that his mom gave him.
Which
And
is good.
It really is good, but the glasses matching it. Wow, Ben. I could just sit and talk for an hour with these guys about your hairstyle, but I think it'll blow you off a bit. But no, we're here to discuss some current news. Kanye West's baby's name is Sam. That's strange. Pete, what else are we going to chat about?
We're going to talk about just a bit of Formula One controversy going down.
Max Verstappen.
Some stuff happening, yeah. I want to get everybody's ideas on that. And
Elections.
Elections.
Yeah.
Cool.
Big.
So I can go over the list of talking points we have here. So pretty much we're looking to do this monthly. So the idea is that we're going to do the news of the last month. So the biggest thing, we're in South Africa, general elections. Avengers Endgame is arguably one of the biggest movies ever to come out. NASA plans to go back to the moon in 2024.
Go back to the moon.
Go back to...
Or go to the moon.
Oh.
Ooh. We don't know.
X-Files intensifies. Sarah Kumalo, the first black South African woman
We have to talk about that.
to reach the top of Mount Everest.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
I got so much respect, bro. Businesswoman.
Businesswoman.
Yes.
Damn. Okay.
No, I'm all love that.
Taryn, like we were talking about this a bit before, but the name of this topic is called From Twilight to Dark Night.
Ooh, so now you're playing on I'm a fairy and I'm a what do you call Twilight? And then Dark Knight. Batman.
Yep.
I love that.
And then we have a few other things, like you said, Formula One, Kim Kanye's baby. But let's actually go
Wait,
ahead.
there was one we were missing. There was NASA. So we covered NASA.
Yes.
Sorry.
So actually, let's go ahead and start with the general election. Did you vote?
Definitely. I still got my thumb.
100%. Yeah, I still got my thumb thing.
It lasted that long.
It did, yeah.
Some of us don't shower, bro. We're still under water restrictions. Hey, Cape Town's water restrictions, bro. That's why the DA lost votes.
No, it was bad, but there were so many people that just didn't vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at
So
the
frustrating.
how many votes like ANC got in terms of like number show out,
Yeah.
like the drop in votes didn't justify the drop in percentage. They were like people didn't even rock up to vote.
Yeah.
And what I get frustrated with this country is that when you don't agree with the ANC or don't like them, then you just don't show up to vote.
Yes.
Instead of making
Yes.
up your mind to vote for someone else, then all of a sudden you just I don't get it. It frustrates me, but I suppose that's everyone's entitled to their own
Yeah,
opinion.
no, on that, people don't realize we have a proportional voting system. So if only 70% of the electorate show up, it's going to be votes addressed to that 70%
Yes.
proportion. But just going, because I have the stats here. So literally last election, the ANC had 62.15. They went down to 57.5.
That is a huge
important
huge
because
drop.
we need 2/3 majority to change the constitution.
And they're so far away from
They
2/3.
don't have that.
But the ANC have been dipping for the last 3 elections.
They have.
Yeah.
Then the DA had 22.23, the last one. This one, they have 20.77.
So I reckon the biggest losers of this last election was the ANC and the DA.
Yes.
And statistically, this is an interesting fact. Since the DA's inception, they've never ever decreased in votes in percentage. So 94, they were like 1 point something. Then they went hugely up in 99. In 2004, again, big jump. And Mmusi Maimane is the first leader of the party to ever make the party decrease in votes.
Sure.
So I don't believe it's a tell in his leadership.
Yeah.
What I do believe is that people have just lost confidence in the DA.
No, absolutely.
No, the DA has
Absolutely.
changed though.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, they've always had like a white leader. And
Sure.
now they're trying to go with a different message.
Ooh.
So
That's
like
interesting.
they're doing the One South Africa for All thing, which I think is great. But at the same time, where you have one person saying, no, we need to give our people land, and the other people saying, no, we need to protect our land. In other words, the EFF and the Freedom Front Plus.
It's so difficult.
Just going back to what you guys are saying about like so many people didn't vote, just on a micro scale, there's always a fight I have with someone at work just like trying to get them to vote, and they just flat out. It's like
Really?
they've never voted ever since they
Why?
come of age. They just completely it's like no, but it doesn't
never,
change.
Never registered or
Never even registered.
How
see,
do
but
you
if
get-
everyone thinks like that, then
Yeah.
then it does make a big difference.
But this year, I went to a client of ours, and this guy votes every time.
Yeah.
And I asked him, "Hey man, are you keen for voting on Wednesday?" And he was like, "I don't think I'm gonna go this year." I was
Wow.
like, "Oh, okay." And I didn't want to like fish further, but he just said, "Listen, he just lost lots of confidence in the ANC, and he doesn't know really where he needs to cast his vote." So I was just like kind of echoing what you were
what I
saying.
was saying, it's so true. Like,
But I think you have those two situations that people just don't.
People either want to
I hate that.
vote for the ANC or no one at all. And it's that whole thing of like, hey, we got you freedom. You should vote for us.
Sure,
and
sure.
it's kind of seen as a betrayal if you don't. But just also another thing I want to point out.
can I just comment on that?
Yeah.
It's like the people got their own freedom in '94. The people rose up as a nation and fought the system. And that's where their freedom was. It wasn't the ANC who gave. If they voted for whoever else they voted for, then that party would have said, "Oh, we got your freedom." But it was the people actually rising up against
Sure.
the leaders of the time. And if that, anyway, that's the mentality I
Yeah.
think people should have.
And then, of course, the biggest winner for this election is going to be the EFF. So
EFF,
they
yeah.
had
6
initially 6.35%. They went up to 10.79%.
Do you have that in numbers?
What do you mean have that in numbers?
Not numbers as in like people voting.
People voting.
How many votes they went up by?
Let me just have a look here. Popular vote. Okay, so that equates to 1.88 million people.
There are 1.88 million people voting for a party that didn't exist.
And it's
6
the
years
township
ago.
vote, eh?
Is it? Eh?
I want to
So
say, it's,
Popo and Mpumalanga in Northwest.
don't you think also it's the student vote as well?
There's the educated student vote, UCT,
Yeah,
all their SRC seats taken
absolutely,
by the
Really?
EFF.
Really?
absolutely.
Eh?
And that's just because no one voted. I have a few UCT friends. They're like, nah. But the
But they were one of the biggest winners. But what about is it the FF Plus?
the IF, the Freedom Front
VF
Plus.
Plus,
The Freedom Front Plus.
Yeah. So
Who
a
the heck
lot
are
of
they
the
and why is
Afrikaans
everyone
vote,
talking about them?
So they've been around for a while. They've been there since the first election.
Oh, is it?
And now
Oh, I'm sorry.
they've
clueless.
been seeing a steady decrease in their numbers
Yeah.
until recently, where a large the supporter base of the DA, the Afrikaans supporter base,
Yeah.
They've switched over.
have switched
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
And that's just because the Freedom Front is like Front Plus. They're saying that no, like you can't take land,
Yeah,
this and that. We're not going to get into land stuff now. We can maybe get into it later.
but it's interesting because a buddy of ours that we played D&D with,
Yeah.
his brother-in-law has actually joined the party and is actually going to pursue
Oh,
a
wow.
career in politics, specifically through the Freedom Front Plus.
What is the Freedom Front Plus's message? That they.
So they
Slantera.
went to.
I know there's a hit back.
That was so bad.
Poster I saw.
I was so
This
uncomfortable.
guy with a white face, like Slantera. Like, what are you doing?
Now, so pretty much their message is protecting the Afrikaans language and culture, and like protecting the people's interests.
But let's
and
be honest,
land.
outside of Pretoria and
The Western
Cape Town, Western Cape, the whole of South Africa doesn't have that culture. And it's
No.
and Peter, you yourself you're someone who grew up in the Afrikaans culture.
Absolutely, and I think my mom being someone that comes from a fairly traditional Afrikaans family, and my dad who had very much a mix of Afrikaans and English. I think from a young age, my mom was like, "Just go with English. This language is dying," and it's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, no.
And I think that I rightfully understand that a lot of people are very much defensive about that side of things, their language, their culture, and stuff.
Of course, and it makes sense if you're very proud of it.
But I think just the direction business has gone in.
Yeah.
You got to just anyway. So
No, it's
But I just want to point out that they went from 0.9% of the popular vote to 2.38%.
that's impressive, eh?
And
huge.
there's certain provinces where they just do way better. Gauteng,
yeah.
they actually got, I think, 3% of the vote there.
So essentially, they've done better than the EFF in terms of where they came from.
Yes, percentage wise, is their
yes.
The growth.
Yes,
they've
in
got
terms of the growth.
200% or something.
But they campaigned hard. Like you saw the signs driving, like just being in the Cape Town area.
I want to make a comment. You said it's more like a white party, Afrikaans. I heard about the FF Plus and how all they did and what their thing is from a black guy
Okay,
who
so
said, and he looked at me and said, "That's our leader, our leader."
so the premier candidate for the Freedom Front Plus
Yeah.
was a colour guy.
Okay.
He was previously, I think, in the ANC.
He stays in Durbanville, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I think he does. Oh, nice guy.
So there was that whole thing, and like one of the boards had him and like two of the other Freedom Front Plus leaders.
Yeah.
This most yo mense.
Yeah.
This is like your people.
Sure.
So what people don't realize is that the demographic makeup of the Western Cape, it's like 63% colored, and most of them speak Afrikaans as their home language.
Yeah.
Sure.
So some Afrikaans could also be really important to them.
Sure. Very true.
The ANC is like technically a communist party. You want to keep the communist party away.
Or do you think the ANC is a communist party, or do you think there's just a very big communist faction
they are a
within
communist party? Like they prescribe to the Freedom Charter, which is a communist manifesto. Not that they've
Because hasn't the Tripartite Alliance been totally like just severed?
Ramaphosa saved it.
Did he save it?
The fact that they've been smart enough and aware enough and like not aloof to the fact that, hey, it doesn't work. So we very much take up like a lot of democratic socialist type principles. But a lot of those things are really null issues in South Africa. Like you take the EFF and they really bring a socialist message, like a heavy one.
Very strong. We should do a podcast drawing the parallel between the EFF's message and 21st century South Africa and related to Adolf Hitler's message in the 1930 Germany.
Wow, we're getting.
I just think
that was fascism. The EFF is very Afrocentric. One thing that like I have to agree with them, like the whole thing on borders. They want open borders, but not for the fact that people can come in and take jobs, but that borders is a Western construct.
Okay.
And that those borders were never there before colonialism.
Yes, that's very true.
So that in order to achieve an African identity, we need to get that.
But then how do you manage that? Bro, this country can't even manage home affairs. Like how the heck?
I have no idea, but I think it's a really cool message.
Oh, cool.
And then
So a borderless
Yeah, you can have
A borderless
you can have
Africa.
every
You know what?
sub
They want a
African
borderless
into
Europe?
Africa.
the almost
that worked perfectly in Rwanda, didn't it?
in Wakanda. Oh, Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Yeah.
Oh, the genocide.
Yeah.
But if there was no borders, then that wouldn't be an issue.
Sure. Okay. No. I see it. Like I'm different from you because
Yes.
I'm in this country. My flag's different. Whereas
Whereas, like, there's a big.
So who's going to be president of a borderless Africa? Malema.
So, have you looked at how the African Union set up? It's actually a really interesting institution. Like, they saw that Europe did, but they want to give an African flavor to it. It's that we're here. The world screwed us over with colonialism, but now let's pool everything we have together and create a more fair, just, and equal society. Whether they do that in practice, I have no idea.
Sure.
But in theory, I think it's a really cool idea.
I think it's a bit of a tough one to say. I think it's playing on a big victim mentality because you're saying the world screwed us over.
Yes.
And they did.
Yeah, no,
let's
they
be
did.
honest. But the retaliation and the motive behind doing it is a victim mentality.
It's not just that. If the EU can do it,
No, that's true. The EU
Like,
are
you know,
doing it, but the EU've got borders.
Africa is very unique. That
But
we
the-
have,
but
we have
the-
the whole idea of Ubuntu,
Yes.
and the whole idea of that we being a good neighbor and looking
Yeah.
after each other, and the fact that that was taken away over the years is quite.
But to compare to the EU, it's so different because the EU's borderless approach is actually about trade and creating a good economy.
Why can't we have that here?
No, we can, but that was what you were saying. I heard you were saying, no, it's like we're all just a people together.
Yes, and that's also what the EU is trying to do.
Are they?
Yes.
Because the EU basically are split in
That's
half
the-
between
why do you-
people hating on, what's it, Greece? The Greece. So like, they
Yeah.
aren't the people together.
Why do you think the UK wants to leave? Because no, it's like, no, we want our UK identity protected and we want control over our own laws. If it was just a trade thing, if it was just a convenience thing, they would have stayed in.
Good point.
But that got heavy.
Heated discussion.
That got really heated. But like all in all with the election, despite like me being concerned about the ANC like actually having screwed over the country over the past while, I think the president is the best man to rule the country. Cyril Ramaphosa is probably the person that's going to be able to turn everything around.
Some older person told me this once. I was like, actually, about 6 months ago, and it was an older woman, like a very successful lawyer. She said, a strong South Africa needs a strong ANC.
Yes.
Regardless of who you believe should be in power. Right now, the majority of the country is ANC voter base.
That's just how it works.
So the ANC is going to be in power for a while. So the stronger the ANC, the better it is for our country. It's nice to see that the majority is just fading bit by bit. We might be another 20 years before they dip under 40% or something. But it's going to be an interesting 20 years to stick around with.
But the like Cyril Ramaphosa, like businessman, he was supposed to be Mandela's successor.
What happened?
Is going on the whole message of fighting corruption.
Yeah.
No corrupt officials.
Well, didn't he just choose a brand new head of the NPA? Or was it a section of the NPA?
No. So a new head of the NPA, new justice minister. But yeah, no, that's what I'm really excited about. Just in closing, we have some really cool topics that we probably want to go to.
Yeah.
Inaugurations coming week in Loftus Versfeld Stadium.
In Loftus?
In Loftus, instead of the Union Buildings.
Those rugby players rolling in their grave, bro.
What? And it's really exciting to see where that goes. We're probably going to talk about this again in a bit, like after maybe his first 100 days. But I think the next topic, and I honestly hope everyone watched it. And spoiler warning for anyone listening who has not watched.
We're going to be dropping
Avengers
spoilers. Endgame.
It is the biggest movie released in probably this decade.
Yeah.
And I would even say
it's probably going to be bigger than Avatar.
Until probably the next Avengers.
Is it going to be next Avengers?
I think so. Yes. Yeah, no, there's this Marvel Phase 3. But
really?
Just actually going on the doc here, it is currently the number 2 top grossing film.
And it's only been out for 2.5 weeks.
Yes. And it, actually, let me get that number out. It was absolutely insane. Because so Titanic is the top grossing, eh?
Isn't Avatar? I thought Avatar.
Sorry, Avatar. Avatar is the top grossing with $2.787 million total worldwide gross. That was in 2009.
Oh, okay.
Now, 2019, Avengers Endgame is sitting at $2.5 million. They're literally 2.5 billion dollars.
Yes, billion. Yeah.
$0.2 billion. So $200 billion away from effectively taking over.
Oh my gosh. How did they build a franchise that big?
I think it's like ground level with like some of the first movies. Just putting those out there, casting the right people.
Yeah. Do you remember the first movie though?
Wasn't it the Hulk?
It was the Hulk. That sucked.
Because you had no idea about the Marvel Cinematic Universe coming together. All you had was it Samuel L. Jackson walking at the end scene saying, "I'm putting together a team."
Yes.
And you had no idea about what
was in it. I think.
Hey? It wasn't Robert Downey Jr. there. Didn't he come in at the end?
He was, but they also recast the Hulk. Like nobody.
Oh, it was Edward Norton.
Norton. That is MCU canon.
Yes.
That is the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay. Yes.
So literally, they recasted a character, and it still got this big.
But Mark Ruffalo was
he
great.
Killed it. He absolutely killed it.
I just think the casting they did, taking someone that can do both, like play a lead role and then like just comedic timing of note. And
Robert Downey Jr.
That's
he's
a huge name.
He's the central. Yeah.
He's a central name. But I think also with, the guy who plays Thor.
Chris Hemsworth. He signed on to go afterwards, eh? So Taika Waititi,
Ragnarok, bro.
Did Ragnarok. And that reinvigorated Chris Hemsworth, and he's still signed on for subsequent Thor movies with MCU.
And I also think the guy who plays Ant-Man, Paul Rudd. I mean, it's like you think like, okay, it's Ant-Man. Why would they cast this guy? But he can do a lead role, and he's got
the comic relief in a series. And let's be honest, in the Avengers movies, it's been like more of an emotional roller coaster than an action roller coaster. Sure. And so that comic relief is always
the big story arc.
Yeah. So that comical relief is so good, and dude, the ending of Avengers just got me in the feels.
Sure.
Downing Jr. dead.
So actually, going on to the ending, I was reading an opinion piece, and they were kind of saying that the whole idea of how Captain America and Iron Man actually swapped endings, if that makes sense. So Iron Man was always the person, who just wants to settle down, whatever. So, and he did settle down. He had a family and everything. And Captain America is always the one that needs to sacrifice himself and everything. Oh. And then what happens in the end?
Sure.
Iron Man sacrifices himself.
And Captain America calms down.
And Captain America finds Peggy Carter, taps dad. So happy for him. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to complain. I'm going to complain about the broken time travel.
Look, I don't get time travel whatsoever. But surely.
No, they don't either, it seems.
But surely, if you go back in time and you change something, when they all came back,
Yes.
surely that would have been impossible.
It did split. So this is my peeve, right? That they go and they're like, okay, cool. If the Infinity Stones get removed from the timeline, it's going to shard. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll return it immediately. What happened when they messed up trying to get the Tesseract and Loki escaped with it? That's not their continuity.
Oh yes.
And
yes,
then
yes.
also on top of that, Captain America getting married, joining like marrying Peggy Carter, I was reading something that the writers were saying afterwards. They were saying no, he found his way back to the original timeline. So what did he marry someone in the other timeline? And then on top of that, did he just do that knowing that Hydra was going to be there? And then also on the quicker side, Captain America lost his shield. Where did he get the shield from? Did he know another Captain America in a different timeline?
Wait, Peter, bro, have you watched Endgame? I'm so
Wait, haven't you watched
No,
it?
I actually,
Peter,
no.
I'm so sorry, dude, because I honestly thought so.
100%.
Oh, I'm so sorry, you could have beaten this.
I knew that this was going to be a topic, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm trying to fight the hype beast in my life.
Okay.
So with the movie, with Game of Thrones, everything,
Yeah.
I've just been completely off
Because
the radar.
no,
you
I just told you Iron Man sacrifices.
I think I saw. I put two and two together. I was reading up for today's podcast, and I saw an article saying that Rob Downey Jr. was going to come on for another movie, and I was like, oh, that means he dies.
Is he coming on?
Yeah, so I think
So
it
like
was one of
flashback
those
or
like
something?
uncredited news reports.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so then I put two and two together, but it's
Brother,
it's totally
This is
fine.
making for a great podcast.
It's like,
It's like one of the members just got it spoiled.
Got spoiled.
join
yeah.
us for spoilers.
But honestly, Peter, I admire the hype thing that you're trying to miss at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's
Listen,
that
the
good.
last Avengers movie
was good.
insane. It
But
was so good.
This is
Oh,
so
you
good
still
as well.
watched the last one
I
as well?
did, yeah.
Oh.
No, it was
No,
amazing.
But this one is just equally as
I
amazing.
think I watched it with you.
Yeah, we went.
Yeah.
I remember, and we were both just shook at the end. We're like, what's happening?
Darren, I'm actually surprised you find it so amazing as it is, because I know you tend to overhype things.
Yes, I'd overhype things to go watch, and it's like,
But it met your overhype.
it definitely.
Wow, okay.
Well, the worst thing was people clapping in the cinema. I hated it.
Really?
And then my girlfriend sitting next to me started to clap. No. And I was like, oh my
Hold
gosh.
on. Let me guess. When all the women's like, don't worry, we got this. And then she started clapping, right?
No, I tell you what, bro. Most cringe moment, Peter. I wish you were there
Here we go.
with me so you could just throw a bottle of ice at this person. So there's this moment in the
Okay,
movie
sorry. But also pause. You watched the movie a week later after it came out.
after it came out.
Okay, so then continue.
So people have already seen it and know it. So this is like a week and a half after it comes out.
The
worst-
hype is dead.
It's dead. But then Thanos snaps his finger. Thanos, what did I say?
Thanos.
Thanos.
No?
Thanos.
Thanos snaps his finger because he thinks he has the Infinity Stones, but he actually doesn't. It's at the end of the
That was
movie.
good. That was really good.
And as soon as he clicks it and you don't see it anymore, one of the girls in the cinema was like, you dumbass. And I was like, I sunk into my seat. And I was like, oh, Jen, what is happening to this world? What is happening to this world?
Just fight it.
nah.
It was bad, bro. I couldn't deal.
No, do you know what actually got me though? And like somebody reacted in the cinema, but I can really get behind that. When they go and find Thanos on that garden world of his,
That's so cool.
and then like Thor just out of nowhere, bah!
Your axes his head in half. Sink.
You see the head. I'm like, ah! And yeah, but I did it way more manly than that. But that got me.
That was funny.
And it was cool seeing Fat Thor though. That was totally
right. So
the highlights.
So Korg makes a comeback.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Okay,
Oh,
but
the lad.
I don't want to spoil this moment for you because
Yeah.
if you enjoyed Ragnarok,
So
this will be
good.
your favorite moment in this scene.
Sure.
So I won't. But
Okay.
the return of Korg and Taika Waititi for
Korg's
the
an adventure
30-second moment he had,
Sure.
it was probably one of the most comical. Just because of the whole Fortnite
Yeah,
craze,
yeah.
It was so funny.
You just said you're not going to spoil
Okay,
it.
I'm
and
not
you're
gonna-
like,
okay, sure,
Fortnite,
sorry, sure.
bro.
Awesome.
Shush.
Okay, so my question then is that do we have something to look forward to for the next phase?
Well, you've just said that. Look, at the only thing I'm looking. Let me start like this. The only thing I'm looking forward to is the rest of the Avengers series. I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is probably Thor and another Iron Man, but there goes my dreams. Okay, so the only thing I'm looking forward to is Hulk and Thor, and that's just because of what they did in.
Is Hulk still?
I don't know, but just because of what they did in Ragnarok.
Okay.
So if they do come out with anything else, I'm probably not going to be that interested in, just because I feel like Avengers Endgame was a chapter closed.
Yes.
But Taika Waititi did such a good job in Ragnarok that I want to see firstly him as a director grow.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I've been there in the days where he made Flight of the Conchords, and I was supporting those New Zealanders when he made What We Do in the Shadows, and he even acted as one of the vampires. You know, and it's laughing my head off, and then all of a sudden he's at a place where he's making Marvel movies,
and his reach now is so massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas you back then when you were watching Flight of the Conchords and you were like, I need to share this.
I know with all my friends
because everybody's gonna love this.
Yes.
And you're like trying to, and now he's got this massive reach.
Well, he's either writing, producing, or directing that new What We Do in the Shadows series as well.
Oh, there's What We Do in the series coming
So
out.
based in New York. But just going back to just Marvel Phase 4, just with the next phase, we have Black Widow coming up, The Eternals.
Wait, Black Widow as in
A Black
just
Widow
a
movie.
Scarlett
Mr.
Johansson
Johansson.
only, bro.
Well,
all you can do is just
Budapest the movie.
Is it a collab with Hulk? Because I'd like to see that.
Steamy, very steamy.
Mark Ruffalo meets.
But I would
Black
love Budapest the movie. Just by the way,
Say again?
Budapest the movie.
Oh, yes.
Was it like so? They even mentioned Budapest again.
And
Like,
Scarlett Johansson. So instead of
Scarlett
Budapest,
Johansson and
they can spell it booty piss, bro. No, I'm joking.
Oh,
Scarlett,
no,
okay.
please
Edit that
don't.
out because my girlfriend's gonna kill me.
yeah, no, she definitely is.
Okay, wait. So Black Widow.
Black Widow, the Eternals. So
Give me some background. What's
Flip.
Internals?
the Eternals. So all of these are like the lesser known comic book characters. So I just want to point out that
Miss me
Iron
with
Man
that.
was never one of the bigger Marvel characters. It only is now because of the movies.
Oh,
So
okay.
they very well could make a completely new, exciting. Just reading this on the Eternals, upcoming superhero based on the Marvel Comics race of the same name. Let me see what they are. Because this is really, really weird. The Eternals. They're engineered by the Celestials. That does not help. But it sounds interesting. So another space one. I love Marvel in space.
Yeah.
And then
come
Doctor
on.
Strange 2.
I haven't
I'd be
watched
keen.
Doctor Strange, the first one.
Oh.
Really?
I
It
didn't
was
watch it.
actually
No.
Worth it. Worth a
fairly
watch.
enjoyable.
Really,
It was good. Black Panther 2.
Oh, Wakanda forever.
The
bro.
entire Africa is amping for that. I can tell you that.
Was that caught on recording, bro?
I honestly hope not.
Damn it.
And then after Black Panther
We
2.
gotta start over.
No.
I'm so sorry.
and then
Things like Marmite.
Mama, no, I thought it would make
Damn it,
I thought it would make
Tarek.
our podcast really funny if there was how authentic would it be if there's some flatulence?
So how old are you?
Spread your butt cheeks next time.
Well, I
I'm sorry,
guess
people.
No,
You're
it's okay.
complaining about
I
no,
guess
I'm
we're
joking.
barely independent. Anyway, so Black Panther 2, Shang-Chi, which is like another magic-based one, martial arts and stuff. Could be cool. Asians represent, major strides were made. No?
Nope.
Okay, you didn't get that reference.
Sorry, it's probably
Guardians
not
of the
really-
Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay, I was gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd watch.
Does
Next
that
one?
include Thor?
Oh.
Because Thor is now a Guardian of the Galaxy. Okay, so to give you some context, Thor leaves the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
He gives Asgard's control to Valkyrie and then leaves with the Guardians.
No ways.
So I'd be totally keen.
No, definitely.
I mean the comedic back and forth between Thor and
Oh, Chris
Star
Pratt.
Lord.
That was the best. And in Avengers Endgame, Chris Pratt has now the upper hand because Thor's this like really he doesn't look after himself. He's not looking good at all.
Yeah.
So to continue that.
Yeah, I hope we get a return of Fat Thor. I hope that he gets his muscles back because I think that's why my mom loved watching it. No joke, she loved Thor.
Is it the new Thor, the new and improved?
No. I don't think she watched it yet.
No, the dad bod, bro.
But yeah, no. So ending off with Guardians, Marvel in space. Talking of space,
Oh,
perfect segue.
Why is it that NASA all of a sudden, 50 years later, wanna go to the moon again?
Moon's
Like,
been there the whole time.
exactly. No one's.
So my dad says that the moon base, the aliens on the moon base, weren't that happy. So, like,
Talking of, who's
we've
seen
been
that
staying
baked
away.
beans
No,
advert?
as soon as they killed JFK, they were like, no, we're done with you.
Yeah, JFK barted our way onto the moon. Tinfoil hat on, guys.
Guys, has anyone seen that
They
beans,
shot him from the moon. True story.
that beans advert? Have you seen it?
The
Yo,
Heinz Bean
that's so
advert.
funny.
No, that was.
No, that's
Okay.
insane.
Yo, that's
So,
it's pretty huge. Huh?
Yeah.
Going back.
2024. The name of the mission. So this is a TechCrunch article. The name of the mission is Artemis. So the U.S. government has recently been given $1.6 billion extra to actually get to the moon. So Donald Trump could be the next U.S. president to take us to the moon.
What?
Wait,
Donald
if,
Trump
if,
gonna
if he's
sit-
still president by 2024.
Wait, whoa.
I'm
Is
pretty
he gonna
sure
be-
he's going to serve a second term.
What? That's a bold claim. You reckon?
I'll go for it. I'll just say.
Statistically, U.S. presidents generally serve second terms. It's just that his approval ratings are actually quite low for historical. Like, for example, I think at one stage his approval rating was lower than Nixon for Watergate.
So, okay, cool. No, that's true. Oh, because I mean, everybody was surprised when George Bush got a second term.
Yeah.
They were like,
No, they were
"What?
like,
How did that happen?" I guess it also depends on who the candidates are that he's going to be going up
Yeah,
against. So.
no.
Well, but isn't what was Obama's deputy?
Biden.
Yo,
Biden-
Everyone's
running.
meme lord favorite.
Oh man,
But
he's the
Biden's
best.
running for president.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
like-
and he's got the
Okay.
memes behind him, bro.
So amongst the Democratic party is doing well for the category of black women. We don't know why.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay.
Do you think we've got another Monica Lewinsky, except this time it's Shaniqua Lewinsky?
No, Taryn, no. Going back to the moon, though.
Yeah.
Like
Going back to the moon.
going back to the moon.
We've never
because
been
we were
there.
totally there. Do you think they'll make their 2024 date?
Sure.
Because
Sure.
NASA has been doing really badly with their space launch system, so the rocket that's going to get them there.
Wow, that's going to be such a good thing for SpaceX.
Wouldn't SpaceX get there first?
Yeah, and they
Man.
SpaceX just launched recently a Chinese satellite.
They
Was it Japanese?
I think it might have been
So there was this-
Arabic.
An Arabic satellite.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Use
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
launches.
No,
Yeah.
they have launches every other month. They were
Yeah.
supposed to launch 60 internet communication satellites
Wow.
yesterday, but then that was scrubbed because they're updating things and everything.
And I believe with that satellite launch, they had the successful triple landing.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they missed the triple landing for the first Falcon.
Yeah.
But they lost the booster because the seas were rough, so they couldn't secure
no.
it.
Okay.
Really?
So it tipped over.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh.
But it's,
But I
it's,
mean, the landing was there.
it's the most impressive thing. Like
it's so
the,
cool.
No.
the land landing,
Yeah.
because there's one on the barge in the ocean and one on land.
Yes.
And just like watching these two rockets from space, like it's,
Breaking the
it's
sound
sci-fi.
barrier as it comes down. No, it's absolute. It's like because how tall? It's a
These things aren't small.
no. It's
Yeah.
like a 12-story. Like
That's huge.
it's massive.
Yeah, no, they're genuine.
And then
massive.
as
It's the length of the.
because the videos I've been watching is like people on boats.
yeah,
And them like just filming it coming down, and then that, you know, the sonic boom
Yes.
as it comes down. You're like, oh,
It's so cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
no, the
So are we saying what's going to happen, but if it's going to work by 2024, is
Yeah.
that NASA are going to use SpaceX's launches to get men on the moon? Because that's going to be a slap in NASA's face. That SpaceX are doing it better.
And I believe they're already doing work for NASA.
So-
am I correct?
they're doing work for
Contracted
NASA. The
launch
private crew program. A bit of a setback there because
For the space
something
station, am I
exploded.
correct?
Yes, for the space station. But the thing is, how they see it as a win for America. So
Okay.
both, like, even if Jeff Bezos were to somehow get there first, or SpaceX were to get there, all of these are American companies. They're like, yeah, USA,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
red, white, and blue.
But cool.
But can I just throw in this, is that it's 2019 now, 2024 is when they want to get there. If they were able to do it in 1969,
yeah.
why is it going to take 5 years of more R&D?
Because they lost all of their funding and now they need to create new systems. So
Okay.
they took 10 years
Fair
to make
enough.
new systems and they had the entire might of the US industrial machine. And now, $1.6 billion, I don't think that's enough money to get them there.
Still a lot of money in the...
Yeah, no, it's a lot of money,
In
but like
terms of
the US burns that in like, I think less than a month for their military.
Yeah.
You know, like,
So the question would be, what are we gonna? Let's say they get back there.
yeah,
What's it going to achieve?
Are we setting up
they
a?
want to get back and stay.
Okay, set up a station.
Moon base.
Moon base,
There would be
okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
There would
We
be
could
a
visit
space
to the
station
moon.
in moon orbit. The
Okay.
lunar. I forgot.
And
what
you
the
think
name
one
of
day
the
we
station
could pay
is.
to go to the moon? If we had enough money, basically Westworld, except a miniature version.
If you have enough
if you're
money,
rich enough, you can go to the
do
moon.
anything. Literally
man.
anything. I'm just trying to check out just the article from TechCrunch again. But it's really, really exciting. And I think it's a really long time coming to get back to the moon. We need to get to Mars though.
Yo, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, okay, cool. We've been to the one side of the moon, where the Chinese went to the dark side. Cool story. Why
are we looking at Mars
Yeah,
now?
I mean, sorry,
Elon
and we've
Musk.
been to the moon a few times.
Yeah.
And I want to, like what SpaceX is saying, like let's go do some stuff at
Yeah.
Mars.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to take a while, but
one cool thing is the moon could be a cool proof of concept.
Could proof of concept for what we're going to do on Mars
So
one
no,
day?
yeah, for what we're going to do on Mars. So
Oh,
how we would
okay,
set things
okay.
up. If we
Didn't
have
you
a
guys
moon
watch The
base-
Martian, bro? That's how we're going to
The
do it.
Martian. The
We're going to
Martian.
put potatoes in poo.
yeah,
We
Jason
need to
Bourne,
watch
bro.
that movie again because it was genuinely good.
was.
Actually,
Brilliant. He became Iron Man in space. It was excellent.
But he was a biologist though,
Yes.
and he basically not terraformed Mars. What was the word he used? But he became a space pirate, and a really good movie.
I love it.
Well, I think this topic's dead. Carrying on with being very high up though,
Yeah.
because like, do you check out these segues? Can you just appreciate these segues?
Mm.
Being very high up, Surrey Kumalo, the first black South African woman
Oh, yes.
to reach the top
Oh,
of
yes.
Mount Everest.
Black female South African.
Black female South African, very important. Peter, you posted the topic. What do you know about it?
I didn't post that topic.
Oh, who posted the
I
topic?
didn't post the topic.
Ben, did you post the topic?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Tell us about it because
This is our producer, Ben. He speaks pearls of wisdom.
I
every 20
haven't
minutes.
actually read on this thing yet. Like,
Interesting, Ben.
like what happened?
Well, as the title says, first South African woman to, make it to the top of Mount Everest.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is a feat. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
massive.
Incredible.
when I was in grade 10, there was a guy called Sean Wisdale who wrote a book called The Seven Summits.
Yeah.
And he summited the highest mountain on every continent. And he did Everest. And this is what he described Everest as. He said it's like running the Comrades Marathon breathing through a straw. And
Damn.
when you hear how tough it is, and then you hear what this lady's done, what she's done, it's not a small feat.
Sure.
When some people die on Kilimanjaro, the Everest's base camp is taller than the top of Kilimanjaro. So, I mean, it's incredible.
And apparently from the headlines, I think 2 people died on the way down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no?
That's hectic.
One of them on the way up.
One of them on the way up. It's quite unforgiving. Have you watched that Everest Beyond the Limits series? I think it was on Netflix a while back. So it follows a team of this one guy. Like he summited Everest quite a few times. He runs this business now. And during the prep work, one of the Sherpas even died. Like while like putting the gas
That's
tanks
scary.
where they needed to be. So that's how you know it's intense.
And you know, you walk past dead bodies on the way up and on the way down.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to touch them.
You can't take them off. He was walking. One of the guys were walking up, and he finds this guy still alive, still breathing, but like just slumped over, whatever. You can't do anything past a certain altitude.
Oh, wow.
So he gives him an extra gas tank, whatever, tries and hooks him up. But like, what else are you going to do?
That's intense, eh?
You
It shows
don't
you it's such
recover
a
by
risk.
this.
Like, honestly, myself, if I got really fit and was able to do it, I probably wouldn't just because of the risk.
Why do people do it?
So that's a valid question.
Accomplishment.
Like what in people and the nature of people makes them want to do it?
Look, yeah, some people like a view and go hiking in mountains. But this case,
sorry, hold on. I like a view. It's like like why do
let
I
me go
Everest?
kill myself.
Now the
No,
view.
but I was
man.
gonna say, like, people don't do Everest for the view; they do it for the accomplishment, for being in the highest place in the world.
Yeah. Being on top of the world
Yeah.
for that short
Like
time.
literally on top of the world. Mount Kilimanjaro. Oh, so
5,800.
this woman went up Mount Kilimanjaro, which is 5,896.
Yeah.
One of my maths lecturers
Yeah,
summited Kilimanjaro.
that's amazing.
Absolute unit.
I would do Kili.
Yeah, no, that's
I would-
very doable. She did Mira Peak in Nepal, which is 6,476 meters up,
Wow.
above sea level. That was in 2014. Kilimanjaro was in 2012.
Okay.
Mount Elbrus, that was in southern Russia. That's 5,642 meters
Wow.
above sea level. and Mount
Aconcagua is South America. It's in
yeah.
the Andes. It's
6,980 meters.
That's the tallest mountains outside the Himalayas. That's a monster. So she's been prepping for years.
Yeah, no. And what's interesting, living in Joburg, mother of 2 boys.
Love it.
Oh,
Would you do it knowing you could never, you might not come back to your children?
okay, well, that's
Sure.
tough. That's tough. That's tough.
But like respect, because I'm gonna just throw this out there. I'm not playing any race card, but the extreme things like hiking mountains has always been looked at as a white,
True,
like you know, Gator Boys. They say like, why are white people so stupid throwing themselves into a river with crocodiles? But like I got so much respect for like other. In South Africa specifically, is that what's seen as a white sport is actually not, and so I just got so much respect. I was really happy when I saw
Absolutely,
that.
So, and then just by the way, she made 2 other attempts. In 2017, she was rescued via helicopter. She was injured during inclement weather. Yeah, that's
Okay, so this has been a long time coming. For
yeah, no, she was at an altitude she was at an altitude of 8,749 meters.
That's about 200 meters from the top.
99 meters from the Everest summit. But those 99 meters takes hours. Because so like people run the 100 meters every time, whatever. Like first you're still climbing up a mountain, but at that altitude, it would feel like hundreds of kilometers.
Yeah.
Physically.
Isn't like the last day of Everest, your
worst
whole
day.
day? No, but like, isn't it just half a kilometer?
Sure. I've heard that before. Yeah.
You walk, you basically go nowhere, but it takes you the whole day to get there. And then apparently when you're on top, all of a sudden you've got all this energy in the world. And you can scream, shout, jump, which you had no energy
it's
before.
the adrenaline.
It's the
all the
thrill.
adrenaline.
Yeah, that's cool.
In 2015, she reached Everest Base Camp 2, but there was an earthquake. And in 2014, she reached Everest Base Camp 1. But the mountain was closed following an avalanche that claimed the lives of 16 Sherpas.
Oh, wow. Talk about persistency though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, even
she
in the
did it.
face of all that danger, she pursued and continued.
Like, I genuinely wondered if she lost anything to frostbite. Because that's a thing. Toes,
Sure.
Just
But
break
like
them off.
talking about going up north, like vertically in the sky, let's talk about Northwest's new brother, Sam.
Segue.
You mean Pasalam?
Pasalam, right?
Yeah.
Pasalam. That will be the new hottest name.
What gives celebrities the right? Like, what the heck, bro?
Yeah, what's that? Like my favorite stand-up comedian is there are no laws governing what you can name your child. You can name your child. He has this joke where he says you can name your child 40 Fs. Just be like, go clean your room. Like,
So, it's like, weird fact, in Sweden, there are some names you're not allowed to name
Oh,
your
no
child.
way.
So, there was this stupid naming laws, whatever. I wouldn't know it. Sorry, Sweden. But some parents name their children this really weird name out of protest. And then they explicitly made that name illegal. So it's like you can't type
Out of
it,
protest
type in, like,
to- out of protest to the law or
to some law, to something regarding baby names there.
But Psalm.
But song.
So essentially,
It's not bad as far as names go.
because what does Psalm mean? Psalm means
Like,
like
psalm
a
is
song.
like a poem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like a poem.
the meaning of
Biblical.
the word psalm is amazing. But to name your child that word,
Psalm
psalm,
West, baby.
the P is silent, bro.
What did oh man, someone so I watched it, kind of like the video went viral. It was Kim Kardashian, Kanye and the family, and I think Vanity Fair came to their house to do like I think it's like
MTV Cribs.
it's not empty. It felt like MTV Cribs, but it was like 40 questions or something.
Yeah.
So they go through the house, and Kim is kind of like hosting it, and then there's this interviewer, but you can kind of hear it's dubbed over.
Oh.
And the family is like on the bed. Kanye's there, but Kanye, I don't know, he's cooked, man. This guy,
But he always looks cooked. though.
like Kim is like interacting, and
Yeah.
Kanye's just playing with the kids, and I'm like, but what the interesting thing is, what went viral about the video is they're talking about this house, and the house is incredibly clinical. Like it's very sharp edges, very white matte, like colors, muted colors.
Yeah.
Like nothing, it doesn't look lived in. So a lot of people were commenting about this. Then they go to their bathroom.
Yeah.
So where it goes completely viral is you've got the bath, and she points out this is where we and the kids bath, whatever, have a good time, and then they point out to this like cabinet where you would like brush your teeth.
Yeah.
But when they focus on the faucet, there's no basin. So it's like a flat piece of slab of marble,
Yeah.
and there's no basin.
Bro,
Isn't it one of those fancy ones where like it goes
like
down the marble?
what's it called? The fountain, like a infinity pool. Is it
Yeah.
an infinity basin?
No, so the outcry from this Vanity Fair video, people were like freaking out, was like, oh, and they do mention the new baby coming and what the kids wanted to name it. The outcry, she makes an Instagram story explaining like, listen, I get it. Here we want to debunk the mystery. And she kind of like zooms in, and it's got like a small little slit. And I don't know, it's by some incredibly famous designer who was working with Kanye trying to get it right. But then the slant, it's like almost like an optical illusion. Like you can't see the slant, but she opens the tab and it doesn't like spread everywhere. It just like locates and like focuses down the little slit.
It's witchcraft.
Oh wow.
Absolutely witchcraft. Yeah, well, I just thought that. Sorry, I'm on.
No, but let's not rush on.
great.
Let's not rush on past that point. Like Peter, we just didn't realize Peter watches Kardashians or something.
Okay, so I
Did you keep up with them?
no the YouTubers I watch
Oh, of course.
made a
yes.
reaction video.
Just
say,
clarify that.
very
No,
good say.
absolutely. I was watching H3H3,
okay,
and
no,
they were like
that sounds
memeing
about
on
right.
that like hard.
Wow.
50 internet points if you can name the names of the other 3 children.
Okay, North.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes.
I thought there's only
No,
two.
the other 3 children. So besides Sam. North being one.
Oh, there are 2 others.
There's 2
that
others.
she's had.
Yeah.
Has she been pregnant for the last 6 years?
Yeah.
I don't keep up.
No,
with
but it's a
Kardashians.
surrogate, so she doesn't have to carry the child.
Yes, there was a surrogate.
Yes.
Which is weird.
It is weird. Okay, North. There's a South, right?
No, there's no South. That
There's no
doesn't.
South.
Southwest would have been great. There's North. There's a Saint. So
Okay,
close.
sorry, Saint. I should have known
And
Saint.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Chicago, I've heard.
Is
as
that
a
where
name
they
before.
inseminated
Was she pregnant with North?
the surrogate?
She was pregnant with North. Wait, what?
Is Chicago where they inseminated the surrogate?
Okay, I don't keep up with the Kardashians. I just know that the Psalm was from a surrogate because I saw like.
No,
News
I think
24.
I think all the babies
North
are
probably
from
wasn't. Because
I don't think North was. But she was pregnant
No,
once.
no, she was pregnant. It wasn't
Sorry.
a good look for her. Well, neither it is for most women. But I mean,
But North,
Don't some
no,
women
the
do that?
oldest must have been the first one, right? It must have been the
Yes.
first one that she carried.
was that not North? Wow.
No, North is the oldest one. Northwest, like it's still.
He's pretty cute in the Vanity Fair video. He's like,
Wait, is Northwest a girl? A boy?
it's a boy.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
Yeah.
a girl.
No. North is a boy.
So wait,
Oh,
this
well,
Saint a girl
Saint's the girl. Yeah.
and Chicago.
I don't know.
It's a unisex name, so they can really decide.
Chicago.
Hey, Chic.
Clean your room.
Keeping up to like Hollywood side and everything. Did you, Darren? Like we discussed this before you came. The whole from Twilight to Dark Knight. Do you know what that's about?
Nope.
So, Peter.
So it blew up. Like I just saw memes everywhere. It was hilarious. So I looked into it. Basically, Robert Pattinson
Yeah.
from. It was famous in Harry Potter,
Yes.
but
Cedric
also
Diggory.
way massive. All his claim to fame is the Twilight series.
Yes.
Sparkly.
He is apparently currently, I don't know, as of right now, the number 1 pick for the
Batman.
new Batman
The
series.
new
Really?
Batman.
No jokes.
Oh my word! This is gonna be.
So I've seen him in different roles.
Oh, this is interesting.
Because I'll be honest, you guys can shame me. I'm putting this on the internet, on the podcast right now. I was a massive Twilight fan when it came
Really?
out. 100%. I don't know why.
I remember when Peter was house sitting once.
Yeah.
Or Clayton was house sitting. It was, and Twilight came on, and Peter and Clayton I were there, and Peter made us watch Twilight.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I did it.
I've
I did
never
it.
watched a single of those movies.
You don't have. No, it's bad. Don't.
Yeah. Okay.
But
cool.
then I took it a step further. You know, I'm not a big reader. I read all 3 of them.
You read all of the books.
Dude,
she
I-
wrote that on a BlackBerry. No, that was
punched
50 Shades.
through
No.
that stuff, bro. I gunned through it like you know what I actually think I wrote. I read as well is the one that got leaked.
Yeah.
I would just deep dive on it. The one that got leaked where the book is from his perspective, not her perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
I read that one as well,
Bro,
like a PDF.
You
bro.
deep dived.
No, okay. This is in hindsight, I realized that it was an absolute shank of a franchise, and
Why do you say that?
no, I think if you
Wasn't it really big and
no,
successful?
it was massive. It was massive. But I think the whole hype nature of it, looking back at it, it's it's not like the acting. Just
It was the biggest thing
No, it's
in
terrible.
cinema. at one stage.
you know, you just
It
like
was,
the
but the
cringe.
acting. I watched the first one on big screen, and the acting's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to see the script. It's like, right. So I just need to just stare there for a bit.
No, but
Yeah.
Like, stare.
Taylor Lautner's whole career has been a huge flop outside to Twilight. He's not getting any role.
He did that Adam Sandler one.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was bad. That was
But like,
genuinely bad.
what was Taylor Lautner's big movie after? It was Abduction.
Yeah.
That got
Shark Boy
4%.
and Lava Girl.
Oh, that was the best. But Abduction got 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Can I just say something? Just on a completely set, I think Taylor Lautner would have made an incredible Power Ranger.
Yes.
I can see him be the red Power Ranger.
we have him partially in a suit in Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh man!
No,
that
we
was
can
so
we
good.
can confirm this.
Because he can
Wasn't
do
that
the
the first
flips.
3D movie?
Yeah.
The first 3D movie, I remember, like, we were still in Singapore at this stage, and like, my dad's like, "Do you want to go watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl?"
Whoa.
And
It's
I'm like-
3D.
in 3D in cinema. I'm like, no, it's gonna be too scary for me.
No, I think that was the
Granted,
first
I was like
3D
5
movie
years
come out on
old.
cinema. Was it not? I remember you got the 3D glasses, and there was moments in the
No
movie where it'd say, "Okay,
ways.
put your 3D glasses on, and you'd watch for 5
Wait,
minutes."
sorry. Moments in the movie.
No, the whole movie wasn't 3D.
That's
You're so
incredible.
lame.
No, you would put it on, and then it would be like, "Okay, this is the."
So
plot
I
now.
remember Spy Kids 3D.
Wow.
You would go to the video rental place, and you get the disc, and you get a whole bunch, and you get a bunch of glasses.
Yeah.
And you can wear that during that. But the first proper 3D, so you know, like the current 3D glasses that I've watched, was Monsters vs Aliens,
Oh wow.
and that was at like New Metro, Canal Walk side.
interesting. I don't know that.
So how do we get onto this Twilight? Sorry,
Twilight,
Rob Pattinson.
Batman.
Batman.
Okay.
Potentially. Here we go.
Look here. My take on this is Christian Bale. No,
Yeah.
yeah, Christian Bale.
Your boy.
He did such a good job.
He did
And
do
it's
a good
gonna
job, yeah.
be it's gonna be incredibly difficult for any Batman
Yeah.
coming after him to be
Yeah.
as good. Ben Affleck's a great actor, but he
Yeah.
couldn't do it as well as Christian.
We didn't see him. Like, I don't think we got to really see his Batman. We didn't really get to see like him do. Like, it felt like he was always an extra in that and whatever, and it was just like dark and like brooding side. But we never really got to
to see him
his
as Batman. Well, they never made like a fully Batman movies. They tried to like incorporate it into the Justice League very quickly.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Marvel Cinematic Universe took 15 years to build up to Avengers Endgame. And
Bit by bit,
the
yeah.
Justice League tried to do it within 3 or 4 years.
Oh.
DC's had a few wins, eh? Aquaman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There were some really big wins,
Yeah.
actually.
But
Okay.
what I like in comparison with DC and Marvel is that with Marvel you have so much content that you can go back to. Like you said, I didn't
Yeah.
even watch the movie, but I realized that they probably used a lot of footage from those older movies to put everything together. So I think for a long time fan, it's super meaningful because
You've watched.
hey
you've
man,
been there.
I'm spending a lot of money on this movie ticket, whatever. I'm coming out watching it. I'm a fan. To then realize that everything you've been following incorporates and adds to the story.
That's a good
Whereas-
point.
DC should win, though. So, like, one being that, like, remember
they
you
didn't.
watching Batman movies, Superman movies. Nobody cared about Marvel movies. Those were all
Very
like
true.
bad.
Because
and
these
then also
guys did
DC,
so well.
all of their rights are owned by Warner Brothers. They can do anything.
Sure.
They give us like garbage at times, but they could literally do anything.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I think we're pretty much out of time. Ben, not if we're out of time.
We got 5 more minutes, I think. What was the
We're
last
5
thing
more
on
minutes.
the topic?
We'll talk about F1 before we go.
We're talking about
please,
F1.
Because I skipped the World of Warcraft.
I was
Yeah.
so
classic is
I've never
happening.
been more disappointed with the opening start to Ferrari in a long time. And Sebastian Vettel said that
For the
F1
audience, Tyron is a massive Ferrari fan,
and Sebastian Vettel.
and Sebastian
Yeah.
Vettel specifically. I'm kind of like I'm Verstappen right now.
Yeah.
I'm loving this guy.
And he did.
I don't really follow.
You
The
know,
last
if-
time I followed
So
was
I'll put you in perspective a bit. Basically, Verstappen's this young up and comer
Yeah.
who stole the limelight from Daniel Ricciardo at Red Bull
Correct,
last season. Now, Max Verstappen's racing ability is insane.
Yes.
He's beating the Ferraris with the worst car.
Yeah.
On Sunday's race, however, Sebastian Vettel had the most amazing start, and on the very first corner,
He locked up.
He locked up, and that meant Verstappen got the inside line on him, and then his partner nearly crashed into him, Vettel's partner, and that gave Verstappen the lead on him.
Yes,
But
yes.
Vettel and the Ferraris never caught him the whole race.
Yeah.
And at the end of the race, Vettel got interviewed by some random interviewer.
Yeah.
And he said, like, so can you sum up the last 4 or 5 races? Or I think it's been 4 races. Can you sum up the last couple of weeks? And then Vettel just said "F you." You just
Whoa, no
Okay.
way.
yeah. He said that's
And he's
it.
always such a cool guy.
Yep. He said that's the last "F you." So
So I think the frustration coming from that is because if we look at testing, and a lot of people have been commenting on this, winter testing, Ferrari was the it team.
yes,
Everybody was like, oh,
Yeah.
they're a half a second faster than everybody. Da, da, da. And now we are 8 races in,
5 races.
5 races in, sorry. And it's the polar opposite. Now it's Mercedes is a half a second faster. Like, if you look at the qualifying lap, Bottas gained half a second. He was 0.6 seconds faster than Lewis Hamilton.
Then Lewis Hamilton.
He got 0.5 seconds somewhere in the final sector.
Yeah.
And people were like, what ghost line were you
Yes.
riding
Yeah.
in that final sector to gain that
Yeah.
time?
So
Yeah.
sorry, just somebody
Yeah.
from like being outside of this,
Okay.
like in a while. Like Ferrari used to be it. There used to be Lego
So-
sets
so-
for them and everything.
yeah.
Haven't they not been it for the longest time?
Okay,
and why is it like
Can I
everyone
touch on
hoping
that?
to come back? Or?
Can I touch on that? So Ferrari as a franchise is the biggest and most popular car in the world, and that's because of the 1960s, where Ferrari just dominated all racing.
Yeah, no, that takes me back. Yeah.
Okay, that takes you really back.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ferrari have always been the big name in Formula One, but then they were being beaten by your Renaults. Then in early 2000s, enter Michael Schumacher.
Yes.
Late 90s, early 2000s. This guy brought the name of Ferrari that was being slumped
Yeah.
right back
Sure,
to the number one place in the whole world. Now, Ferrari haven't had a taste of that since he left. Okay, and the Ferrari have not been winning anything since 2007, Kimi Räikkönen. Okay, so Ferrari's not one, they're the biggest name in Formula One, and they're the only team that's not allowed to leave. Okay,
Not allowed to.
and
leave.
they've got I think they have a veto right on some decisions.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So if Ferrari left Formula One, Formula One as a whole franchise might dip a bit.
Yeah.
But 75% of all Formula One watchers are Ferrari fans, but Ferrari are not doing anything. So yes, you've got it right.
Yeah.
Ferrari are not doing much.
Yeah.
The Mercedes are just too good, but also your Red Bulls. They're just the driver choice. Max Verstappen's like, how come Ferrari can't pull
Yeah.
Max Verstappen?
No,
You know.
I'm trying to figure out because I know that we almost out of time, but last thing I wanted to say was Barcelona is the big, everybody puts their upgrades on. It's the power
Yes,
unit goes
yes.
on, all the drag and the like aerodynamic stuff comes on like the race before.
Yeah.
But to then do that and to have that shift, like what is the rest of the season going to look like? Because where
Yeah.
the upgrades going to come from?
Yeah.
The factory's already done their work.
Ferrari put their power unit in so that they could match the Mercedes, and this was their worst performance of the year.
And then, now it's Monaco.
No, and which is whoever qualifies first.
And
now
apparently,
Red- and that's
apparently
Red Bull's
Monaco's
track.
tight,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah,
you,
really
you
tight.
don't overtake on Monaco.
No.
Okay, so pretty much I think we've had a good session.
Yeah.
We're out of time. I hope whoever's listening to this, you enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Please, if you enjoyed this, add us to whatever we're posting this on.
Ben,
Tell your
please
friends
edit the
about
nonsense out.
it. We'll try.
Should we give some socials?
We'll give socials.
What is
Peter,
that
do you want to
thing?
go first?
It's at pgriffiths00 on Twitter.
On Twitter, okay.
I don't know.
I'm not on Instagram anymore. Personal reasons, which we'll discuss in the
grams,
next
bro.
in the next podcast.
He's reformed.
But you can just look for me on Tyron Nell on Facebook,
Nice.
or you can follow Future Lab
Ooh.
on Instagram
And that's
Facebook.
Tyron's business.
Should that... Was that our sponsor for...
And that was our sponsor spot.
Future Lab
Future Lab's
sponsors.
going to be playing. Future Lab is a robotics education company, and they're going to be paying for lunch now.
Supper.
And then for mine, I'm at Ezra Fielding on pretty much everything: Instagram, Twitter. Please don't stalk me. Ben, do you want to give your socials? No, he doesn't care. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it was great.
This has been Barely Independent. Hopefully, we like the name and stick with it. And see you guys next month.
Lots of love.
Bye.